We've done it. We're here.
All right.
Excellent.
Yeah, finally got hold of you. How are you doing?
Yes, I am good. Just yeah, running around like a madman.
Yeah.
As always. We got a nice time difference marked up as well because you said 11 a.m. But I
Yeah.
forget you live in Berlin and I live in the UK. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there you
Got there in
go.
the end.
But
Yeah.
yeah, man. No, I'm well. Yeah, just been a lot going on lately. Um,
That's
I know
awesome.
it's always a bit of a humble brag when you're like, "Oh, how you doing? I'm just like so busy.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
know. I know.
so busy.
Yeah.
God, you know, my life is just I'm just so busy. My life
Yeah,
is just
I'm
you just
just
wouldn't believe what goes on in my life because I'm just so busy."
I'm just so overwhelmed right now. Like, can I get back to you in like 48 hours?
Yeah, yeah. But no, to be fair, I'm very well. We
Yeah.
just had an event at the Volks at the weekend.
Sick. Who was playing?
Rockwell. We had
Oh yeah,
Rockwell
I think I saw
headlining.
that. I was like, yeah, that looks dope. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good show. We had Rockwell, Jarfield, Yano, and Coherent.
Yeah.
Uh, Good overview crew, and yeah, it was a really really good event. It was a really just. I take a lot of time in ensuring the right lineup is all works together
Yeah.
because I feel sometimes with some events so a lot of people don't pay enough attention to the kind of progression and sort of the journey uh, that a night goes on. They'll be like, right, we're
Yeah.
going to play this jump up DJ, then followed by liquid DJ, and then
Yes.
it just can be a bit
Yes. Yes.
disjointed.
Well, no, that makes sense, and that's what you did when I came down. You put me right at the end for the Neurofunk finish.
Exactly. That's your own fault if you'd be like, oh, I'm playing so late. But again, it really was because I was like, well, I know Marcel is going to be hard,
Yeah.
and that really for the progression of the night made sense because it might be rather than be like, oh well, he has X amount of followers, they need to go there, or
Yeah.
if people do that, I think it's so backwards. It really does have to work with
Yeah.
vibe with the music that will complement each other and you really can build to something
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
really really nailed it at the weekend with that, and we had just a really
So
really lovely show.
when did Rockwell play then? Because I'm a big fan of Rockwell. He's always been a massive influence since day one.
Nice, that's good to hear actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he played I think 3 till 4.
Yeah.
When me, then Jarafield, then Coherent, then Rockwell, then Yano to kind of finish it off, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Because Yano plays quite sort of harder
Oh,
music.
does he?
Yeah, no, he
I'd
does. I mean,
I'd, lo- I'd love to hear him play live actually. Yeah, because his production is just so sick.
yeah, he's a very talented boy. Yeah,
Yeah. Where's he from though?
well, he's originally from Jersey,
Okay. Okay.
and then now he's living in Bristol, obviously, as everyone does.
Yeah. Fair.
Um,
Fair.
and yeah, no, he's a really talented producer. But yeah, Rockwell was fantastic as well. I've booked Rockwell a couple of times. He's
Okay.
he's a sick DJ. Like honestly,
Yeah.
he's
I bet he
really
is. Yeah.
good, and he kind of really complements overview. We've got kind of like a lot of similar sort of visions, I guess, and again, similar to like yourself. Like I was a big Rockwell fan
Yeah.
in sort of 2000, yeah,
Yeah,
10.
but when we first were hanging out in Brighton, I would be listening to Rockwell on my way to uni, like, and I remember clearly listening to one track called "For You" that he did was like more
Yeah.
experimental halftime kind of thing. I
Hmm.
remember it was like my walking to uni tune for ages. It's like so sick. What
Yeah, he
did he have like a break from production and then come back? Because he recently released something again, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe that he took a break during the lockdown
Oh, okay.
and because he kind of, yeah, because he's founded his own label now, Obsolete Medium, and he put out quite a big release, I think just like 2019,
Yeah.
and then the pandemic happened, and I think he took quite an extended sort of break during
Yeah.
that time,
Fair.
and then yeah, has now come back with his new album, um,
Yeah.
which
Fair.
is sick,
Yeah, it's
and
sick. Yeah, Veins. That's really a banger. I like that track.
Yeah, yeah, no. It was the collab with Medusa as well was a real personal peak as well with Novelist, and yeah, no, but he, yeah, he's got it's kind of he sort of because he was always a very sort of forward thinking artist,
100%.
you know, because he was doing the whole. I mean, we were making a bit of a joke about it at the weekend because he was kind of doing the whole 4/4 drum and bass thing like 6 or 7 years ago. Like he,
Okay.
you know, he was doing it before anyone really,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the whole kind of like Duke footwork kind of drum and bass thing as well.
Yeah.
And now that's kind of a real trend. And yeah, so he's always been that kind of very forward thinking kind of guy. And yeah, it's just it's a bit surreal actually. I think sometimes, even though I'm kind of where I'm at, but yeah, like that thing of like, you know, I was listening to his music back when I first came into drum and bass and was a big inspiration, like kind of even to like my musical taste. I think kind of like when
Yeah.
you listen to someone, you know, he was very kind of glitchy, techie.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the glitchy style. It
Oh,
was like
so sick.
a DNB producer, but you could enjoy like the fact that he's like really just pushing it to the edge. Where it's like, is this
Mm.
DNB anymore? I'm not sure, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it was like really technical stuff. I mean, there was that reverse engineering. I don't know if you've ever heard that
I can't remember
track.
that one. No.
That's I mean, the whole track is samples that are reversed.
Oh,
So
okay.
the track is it's forwards, but it's backwards.
Okay, got that.
It's really worth checking out. Again, amazingly forward thinking. I mean, and I don't even know of another track that's even done that, to be honest.
Okay, sick. I'll
Um,
definitely check that out. Yeah.
yeah. So again, he was always like pushing the envelope, but yeah. So he's kind of like, I mean, he was really kind of like, you know, he kind of reached a real peak, I think, you know, a number of years ago in the whole kind of like Shogun audio kind of camp era.
Yeah.
And then he's just, you know, been a bit quieter. But he's still been there. He's still been there. And then kind of like having this comeback now with the album. And yeah, just, you know, for me now to be able to kind of give him a show and,
Yeah,
you
how
know,
does that
like,
feel? How does it feel to you to like have been like a fan and a listener like many years ago and now like playing him at your nights? Like how does that feel?
so it's a bit surreal. It is a bit
Yeah.
surreal.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met him a few times now.
Yeah.
And he's a big, you know, he's a big supporter and he's a big fan of Overview, and
Sick.
he's said a lot of nice things, and that's really encouraging when you kind of, yeah, the people that you have looked up to and have even kind of, as I said, helped inspire, also then turn around and be like, oh, it's amazing, you know, what you're doing and playing the music, and yeah, very
Yeah.
flattering. And yeah, to then sort of now be on that kind of level. I mean, it's been that with a number of people now, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think certainly if I'd have sort of told my, you know, 19, 20-year-old self, yeah, like what would then now happen, and the people that I kind of know, I definitely would have possibly not believed you or just been like, oh, that's so fucking cool. Like, you're so cool, Pete. You're so fucking cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
we chatted about this before when you was in Berlin as well, about like how you like you get so busy and you like achieve all these things, and then like there's certain moments when it like hits you like what you actually
mm.
have done, and it's like hard to like focus on the present sometimes, isn't it? When you're always like planning the next project and all this, you know?
No, you're definitely right. I mean, I'm sort of working very quite far ahead, and these kind of projects that take so long, and always looking at the next thing and the next thing. And
Yeah,
I think, yeah, it's good. You don't want to get too sort of caught up in always looking back and always, you know, yeah, telling yourself how good you are or whatever. But it is also nice, and I think it's important to also then, you know, appreciate that and be like, you know what, you've actually really come quite far, and look at what you have done, and look at the impact that you've kind of had on people's lives, and remember that and use that as inspiration to kind of
yeah,
add fuel to the fire, I guess.
yeah. You can use that in those dull days or moments when you're like feeling, yeah, like if you like if I have like a self-doubting kind of day, which I often do, then like that's a tool that you can use. Be like, actually, yeah, no, fucking, I've done that. Actually, that was mental. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's just keep going.
try and remind yourself a bit, I guess, of those moments, and why you're doing it, I guess, isn't it? It's about that
Yeah,
kind of thing, and the progression, because you can just get very too caught up in what next, and
yeah,
constantly needing more rather than appreciating what you do have and what you have done. God, we're getting deep and
yeah.
philosophical already. Deep and
We always
philosophical
we
already.
always we always do. We always do. Yeah, that's fine though. I'll get even deeper. So
Uh-oh.
what would be your why then?
Oh my God.
Could you,
How long
could
have we
you...
got? My
Because
why?
yeah.
My why for what? Why am I in music, or
My question would
why am
be
I here? Why am I alive? Where what is the point of my existence? Where are we going?
literally the sky's the limit, mate.
Oh no.
No, um why are you running a label, and why are you running it the way that you are, and pushing the artists that you choose to?
Oh God. Oof. Why? Why? I think it stems a lot from I always wanted to be from my own self, probably from a more selfish perspective. I always wanted to be very in control of my own destiny and work for myself.
Yeah.
So that was possibly the catalyst for kind of why I'm in this position, why I'm set up my own business, why
Yeah.
I'm that was always a big ambition. That was always one of my main ambitions, was I wanted to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now it could have taken many different routes.
Yeah.
I had different ambitions, and I've had failed projects, and the record label has been the thing that has sustained and has
Mm.
grown.
Mm.
Like why I'm here, I think I'm the right person. I'm the right person for the role,
Yeah. Totally.
because I don't like I'm my job is to run the label. I'm not a producer. I'm not I haven't got a lot of my own sort of interests, my own self interest in that kind of way, so I can very much focus on other people. And
Yeah.
I always enjoyed collecting music.
Mm-hmm.
I almost like an obsessively so, and combination of things. I always had quite a encyclopedic knowledge about subjects, and I would become very obsessive about information and finding out how everything works.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of been how my brain operates.
Yeah.
And drum and bass was just the thing that I discovered that I really, just something really clicked with me. And yeah, so I think that's maybe it. I think it was maybe just like the combination of a lot of factors, being the
Yeah.
right person in the right place
Yeah.
with the kind of right ambition. Um, and I'm
And
very good at. Sorry,
yeah, no, absolutely amazing answer. And like,
hopefully that makes sense.
yeah, no, because one of the things I also like admire about you is the way that like
Oh,
how
don't! Oh, you flatter me
so
now.
oh
Oh, you
oh
admire me, do
get
you?
you, sir. Oh. Shoot you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Just your sort of battle tactics. No, 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 no. What I admire about you is your leadership capability, because obviously being like uh, a label owner of such a great label that you've created, like obviously you're in like a big like leadership role,
Hmm.
and like just how you, I guess how you deal with people on day to day basis, get the best out of people, and find that right, strike that right balance always when it comes to like dealing with business, and
Hmm.
then and but also cultivating your artists, and like having them feel like part of the crew and supported as well. And like how you
Hmm.
do that is that obviously comes naturally to you, I suppose.
I think it comes naturally to a degree. I mean, I do think I don't know if you different personality types. Everybody, there's a lot of different. There's the Jungian, Carl Jung, did the whole like personality types, and you can put people into these different sort of sections, and some people are better fitted for these roles, and other people have fitted more for those roles, and that can go transcend a lot of society and workforces, and yeah, maybe I have always felt myself capable in that role, in the leadership role. I'm terrible at being told what to do. Like, I'm really terrible at being told what to do. It's really, and I've been like that my whole life, which has got me in a lot of trouble and has rubbed some people up the wrong way. But it also then, I don't know, like having that belief and drive and determination, and kind of, and also not just accepting it, and just because sometimes being told what to do can hold you back, or not feeling like you can push forward, and you can't think these things are achievable, because I had a lot of people throughout my kind of my journey kind of not believe in me, or think that I was pretty insane to try and do something within music, because it's
that's it. But even though you've come so far already, though, don't you still have that, like, now though as well? Like, do you ever still feel that sometimes?
No, I think that you just go up another ladder.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it never ends, really, isn't it?
No, I mean, it possibly doesn't. I think that's probably part of the joy. It just changes arena, and the different, because even now, there's still limitations, and maybe people in the way, or these things that I now have to deal with that are on a much larger, more intense sort of scale than than before. It was it was a lot more localized and a lot smaller, and so those things don't necessarily change, but it helps me still, like like I said, like just being able to be very determined and be the guy at the front, kind of leading the charge, and just not accepting when I'm defeated, or even know how I'm improbable these things can be. And I've always been very sort of like hands-on. I'm just like, well, if you're not going to help me, you're not, if you're not going to do this, I'm just going to do it myself, and we'll figure out a way to
100%. That's so
make
good.
it happen.
It's that sheer determination that's what's great about you as well, and what I've noticed about you. And sometimes I draw like certain parallels as well, because I guess anyone who wants to like make it in the music industry in general, like, it's because it's so hyper competitive. Like, if you don't have that sheer determination to keep going, like, no matter what, like, even if like all doors just close in front of your face for like what seems like forever, and you're just like, what can I still actually do to keep pushing forwards? And you have to like think about like, what can I realistically just do myself and work harder at to like just keep it going, keep the momentum that you've got going.
That's the thing, and you'll face a lot of people saying no, and a lot of doors sort of closing, and you can feel very sort of despairing, and well, what's the point? I'll never. But you've just got to keep on going, and that kind of the grit and determination, and the stubbornness. I know that's always definitely an adjective that people have used to describe me, to be just very, very stubborn, and to kind of just keep going.
That can be a good character trait, though.
No, I think it's. I mean, there's a really fantastic book actually called Grit.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Little book recommendation for anyone. I can't remember. It's Grit. It's like got another sort of title. But it was looking at and backed by scientific research and whatever, and trying to kind of talk about that as a factor, and to how important that is for people that really do go on to achieve great things, and almost being one of, if not the kind of most important attribute. Because obviously, yes, there's talent and there's skill and all that, and don't get me wrong, those things are very important. But if you don't have it backed up with
grit,
with the grit and the mentality, it's very hard to actually be able to reach your full potential, I guess, is the kind
Yeah.
of more what it's about for me. And that's kind of the kind of mindset I've certainly been on recently, trying to reach my full potential. I think is the, I do think that different people have different levels of potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess I feel like I have been very lucky to kind of like have quite a large potential.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's been the realization to be like, well, you can't just expect that it's going to happen.
Yeah, but
You do have to.
yeah, exactly. A lot of people have such a high potential, but they just don't get anywhere near to fulfilling it, do they? And
No,
that's just as hard as,
and I think that that would be probably possibly one of the most difficult things I feel for people when they're kind of on their deathbed and looking back at their life, and to be like, I could have achieved so much more, but I am responsible for that fact that I didn't achieve what I could have achieved. I think I think it can be a complicated subject, because I think there are certainly things out there that some people can't help. Whether it's the kind of economic situation where they
Oh
may
yeah.
find themselves in society, they might get hit by really bad illness, and didn't reach potential in that way. But if it's you that where you
kind of know though, don't you, if you've got more in you and you're just sort of choosing not to
you're just being lazy, not just being careless, just having having a bad attitude, and that being the reason why you aren't able to to go on further. And I think that would be an awful thing to look back on, on your life, to be like, well, I could have done so much more, but I didn't. So I've certainly been kind of looking at a lot of that lately. I think that's been possibly the biggest change in my life for the last I would say the last sort of like 8 months.
Well, you also quit drinking though as well, didn't you?
Drink and drugs.
Yeah. Are you still on
Completely.
that complete sober thing?
Yeah. Been been 8 months now, and it's definitely been the best decision I've ever made in my life, to be honest.
Was that quite a large distraction away from your your growth and things like that? Was it quite a big one for you?
Yeah, and it's certainly could, it's like anything, it could have got a lot worse. And although I was I was kind of functioning in a lot of respects, and there are a lot of people within our industry that do function with it.
Yeah.
Again, it was also that thing of like, well, I'm not being as good to myself as I could be, and I can do so much more. And the difference has been night and day, to be honest. Like, and the rewards have been kind of only coming even more now, to be honest. 8 months kind of in.
You feel it just getting better and better, right?
Yeah, no, really am. There's the kind of like very sorry, I've been I had another phone call before this, so
no worries, mate.
My just need to freshen up a little bit.
I don't care to take. We're getting quite deep and serious with this pod, but in general, like, I don't really care. Like,
no, that's fine. That's fine. So as I said, you got it kind of like the initial benefits of not waking up hungover or coming down, and being able to be much more productive during the week. And that's that's very sort of initial, and then gradually, as it's gone on, it's things like having more money in my pocket, and getting a lot more time back. It's like it builds up and it builds up, and now I'd say from like the kind of like health perspective, kind of getting a real sense of mental clarity.
Because it doesn't just end there. It's not like you end that and then you've ended it and that's it. It's like you have this whole new road to go down to unlock like the next kind of things, how not to be like on this trendy self-development kind of tip, but
A little
like,
bit,
but yeah, but it's kind of
but there are genuine benefits to it, I
yeah, it's
guess.
kind of interesting though. Like the longer you do that, then you like get more clarity with yourself as a whole, and then you find like so many other avenues and things to like go down to like yeah, just shit that you start doing that you would never have dreamed of doing like before when
Mm.
certain things were like holding you back, you know. So
Yeah,
it's,
and
that doesn't just stop there, you know.
I think you're right with it within that things holding you back, and then because you've kind of got much more time and clarity back, like you're saying, you start looking at things differently. For instance, one thing that I've now my next kind of thing has been really kind of looking at my intake of food and
Yeah,
what I'm putting into my body in general, and wanting again to be as good to myself as I can possibly be. So that has been cutting out a lot of unhealthy things in my diet, making sure that I'm intaking the right things to
yeah,
ensure that I'm functioning as well as I can.
yeah,
We
yeah,
have all this, there's all this information and it's all there. And it's something that, again, you would kind of look at some people, you look at that life and you think, oh God, I wish I could do that. But it's just so difficult.
yeah,
And you set yourself up to not be able to do that. And I think that, the drink and the drugs and that kind of cycle that you get caught in very much holds you back, because you just then become demotivated again, and
yeah,
you're just, all you're ever wanting to do is chase the high rather
yeah,
than be able to work on yourself and look at these much larger things
yeah.
and
Do you know what I think though is the problem? Like for what I notice is just the FOMO and the fact that 90% of the rest of society are literally just getting fucked up and taking drugs and just going to festivals and getting off their nut like all the time. And like, because I'm like, you can almost feel like the FOMO of like missing out on the fun, and like people just get sort of sucked
oh
into
mate,
to that.
I honestly,
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
at all.
envy it. And
Yeah,
maybe you're right in terms of that's what keeps a lot of people in. That's a difficult subject of what keeps people in. I mean, I think it's a very, it stems culturally to what we're kind of taught, the beliefs that we have and we're told, and these, because I feel like I've sort of broken through a wall, and I'm now taking the red pill. It gets get all very cliche, but
yeah,
yeah, it's now kind of like stepping outside of it all and going, wow, like this is, I can't believe this is so different. I can't believe I'm seeing this way.
bro. You
And
literally step outside the matrix for a moment, and you're just like, okay,
yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that I've sort of said it. I always felt it's quite ironic because I've always been quite, say, I'd always like the rebellious kind of rebelling and
going against the grain.
subversion, yeah, going against the grain and whatever. And I think I always thought that, like, taking drugs and drinking and partying was
Was it?
going against the grain.
And now it's flipped on itself. I feel
Yeah,
like because
I actually,
I
yeah,
feel like living in Berlin, especially like here, for me not to go out on the weekend, take a combination of ketamine and cocaine and various other things all together, I'm the fucking weirdo by not
yeah,
doing that. And I'm like,
mm,
bro, like I tried loads of shit in my early 20s. I'm super glad that I like tried a bunch of shit and had fun. And I
mm,
completely sort of would say I grew out of it. But it's like so many people I know, like in their like mid to late 30s and stuff, and just all just like just getting on it like all the time.
yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, you almost feel alienated from most of people and what they're doing. It's like, am I the only one that's trying to get away from that?
Mm.
That's sometimes how I feel where I live, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to Berlin and seeing like the drinking culture there, I mean, it's a big thing in the UK, obviously, but it did seem very, very ingrained in Berlin. Big party city, and look, I've got nothing against it, and
No,
I've done it. I've done it for years. I mean, I put on events as a job. Like I organize events
yeah,
where people go to drink. Maybe
100%.
there's some questions in there where I do sort of like think about it, but it's not all bad.
No,
But I guess for
it,
me personally, I mean, I have thought about like would it be interesting to, do more sober events, or do events where you don't sell alcohol, or you don't,
Yeah.
or you encourage people not to actually take drugs and
Yeah.
go there. Like, you can still, I still think the venues can still make money. I think if you were to have, like, said, beer, non-alcoholic beers, you got non-alcoholic just about everything now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could set up spaces like that where it becomes more normalized to be able
Yeah.
to go out and not get fucked up and still enjoy it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because I think it's all a fucking illusion. Like, I don't ever want to like preach to people, or I never judge people for like experimenting and doing that kind of stuff. Like, I have no judgment, or like, I don't look down upon anyone for that, because I was always doing that as well.
Mm,
But just from my experience, it's like all of the joy and happiness that doing that brought me is completely like achievable, completely sober as well. When you sort of
mm,
just realize that you can get to that kind of state of like confidence or happiness, or whatever that state is you're sort of chasing,
mm.
you can get that way like by yourself,
Yeah,
if you just like sort of put a bit of work in, I suppose.
yeah. Like I said, it takes time. I think that there is still something in being able to get to certain states. I think when it comes to listening to music and comes to raving, why something like ecstasy,
Yeah.
and the kind of, because it unlocks a way of thinking that is very difficult to get to any other way, unless you are a
Yeah.
Tibetan monk that has got like 30 years
Yeah.
meditation in a
But
cave.
but
Like,
I will say that when I was in Colombia, I did this somatic breathwork session,
okay.
which was like fucking intense, and I felt like I was tripping my balls off on psychedelics, all just from deep breathing
Wow.
exercises. So when I
So,
did
so
that,
maybe we need to do that at raves now.
yeah, mate, somatic
Everybody
breathwork, right?
having
Yeah.
deep breathing exercises at the front.
Yeah. Just without, give them a nos balloon so they can feel happy with the colourful balloon.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it. Just do it. Yeah, give it balloon, just air. Everyone's just going to be sucking air like in and out. Yeah, maybe.
That's it.
Look, here we go. Look, we've already got our sober raves.
Yeah.
We've got it sorted. Breath work, non-alcoholic beers.
Yeah, just selling empty balloons, mate. 10 quid a balloon.
Yeah, 10 quid for an empty balloon. I mean, we laugh. I mean, I'm sure there probably is events out there that do this type of thing. I feel like probably more in like the psytrance community,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
one of
yeah,
these
yeah.
kind of like real, more like hippie
Yeah.
led
It's
kind of
nuts
thing.
though, because this guy, I met this dude in a sauna in Bogota, like random as fuck. This
Uh-oh,
like,
where's this story going?
yeah, exactly.
I met a
It's like,
dude in a sauna in
yeah,
Colombia.
this proper gringo, this American guy
ASC.
in a sauna full of Colombians, and I was like, he looks pretty white to be here. So I started chatting to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm training to be a breathwork instructor, and I've done like ayahuasca ceremonies and shit like this for ages,
Okay.
but I realized that I could get that same like almost hallucinogenic fucking spiritual revelation just through like proper like deep breathing exercises." I was like, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just starting out. I'll do like a free session for you." I was like, "Fuck it, yeah, go on then." And literally at the end of the hour, I was like almost in tears, and I was just like proper like my whole body was just like vibrating, and it
Wow.
literally felt like I was like on like strong like drugs, and I was like,
So,
"Holy
so this
shit!"
was you were doing the breath work in the sauna
No,
itself?
no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
okay, all right.
We did
I was
it.
gonna say that would have been really fucking
Yeah,
intense.
yeah. I would have passed it the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, still.
But
I
no,
mean, to be
it
fair,
was nuts. It was nuts though. It made me realize like, oh shit, what you can do with your own body without any substances is crazy already. Like,
yeah, I mean, even you're saying getting those natural highs,
yeah,
obviously, so offer something like exercise, and looking for those things that can kind of still give you that buzz, but there's not the trade-off. I think that's always
yeah.
that's the thing with a lot of things, is that there
It
is the
is.
negative
It
trade-off.
is. It is, and it's not like immediate. Like a lot of the time, it's like I feel like there's a time limit to everything. Like
Mm.
because people can like go for years and that and like doing like drugs and just feel like normal and functional and fine. But I think that at some point there's always like a limit to it, even if it's like years, you know.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, without getting too
yeah.
morbid. I mean, it was something that I've kind of, as I said, thought a lot
And
more.
Artifact's Natural High podcast.
Come do some deep breathing exercises. I mean, I've been meditating a lot,
Yeah.
which has really helped on one level. No, I was going to say, I have thought about the kind of where we'll sort of be very soon. There was an interesting. I don't know if you saw the Vice doing a video. It was about like geriatric ravers
Okay,
because
no, I haven't seen that. No.
it is really worth checking out because you kind of have a whole generation now. You know, these people that were going out in the in the late 80s, early 90s. You know, the first generation of ravers in that way. You know, are now getting into their 60s. Getting older than that.
Yeah.
Like you've got even within drum and bass, you've got this whole sort of like older guard now that are all in their 60s,
Yeah.
and yeah, and obviously if there are a lot of them that don't, that don't still kind of get involved in the lifestyle, but yeah, like if you've done 30, 40 years maybe drinking, late nights, partying,
Raving.
drugs,
Yeah.
raving, like the toll on the body is a can't imagine it really, and there will be some. I mean, you look at say musicians, rock stars and whatever. Like there's some, and there's some of the cases I know that the kind of the Rolling Stones, are sort of like held up as an example of these guys that just seem to go on and on.
Yeah, the
But
British motherfuckers, British rock stars never fucking die.
yeah, rich ones, yeah, the ones that are like can just get a liver transplant if it like
Yeah.
starts going wrong. But
Or,
yeah, there'll be a lot of people that just won't have access to that kind of thing, and yeah, and so that sort of generation now, and it'd be interesting to see where things are at in, say, I mean, while I'm 33 now, say another 20, 30 years, like where will things be? And part of me worries, part of me does worry. I do sort of think like, are we going to undoubtedly see sort of like early deaths or people having real problems? Say smoking as well. Like, the amount of people that smoke in our scene, itself for a long time. I mean,
yeah.
that's actually now my next thing that I've been looking to cut out because of, obviously, don't need to go too much into why you don't want to smoke.
Yeah.
Are you
do you smoke now then?
No, so I've quit now. I've been over a month. I think it's been 5 weeks now.
That's good. That's good, man. The first month is well hard for quitting smoking, isn't it?
Oh, the funny thing is it's not been difficult at all.
Okay.
And it in a similar way to when I sort of gave up, drinking and doing drugs and stuff. And
a real mindset shift for you then, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the key, because it hasn't been difficult. And I think sometimes that's part of the problem, because you sort of can sit there and go, oh, it's going to be so difficult. Like,
because you're still fighting it. Yeah.
It's so challenging. And I think if you're in that mindset, it's self-perpetuating, and it will be hard, and you will, it will bother you. But if
you'll be thinking about it more, and then you'll be likely to do it again, I suppose, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. It's like, and then someone lights something, go on then, fuck it, I'll have one. Like, I was bad, like, even like I said, even though giving up this stuff, and then I was still smoking, because I was like, oh well, I'm still going to let myself have this one thing, like, and then again, the more mental clarity I'm getting, the more I'm kind of looking at things, now more that I'm taking into consideration my own health.
Yeah.
Now thinking about that, and obviously you can't say tackle absolutely everything at once.
No, of course
it's
not.
good to try and but yeah, so that's been my latest one, and it's really not been difficult. Like, it's been a lot easier than I first thought. But I read a really good book. There was a really good book called recommendation. It's called Alan Carr, Easy Way. It's quite a renowned, quite a well-known anti sort of smoking book.
Is that the one where he tells you to smoke while you're reading it?
Yeah,
Is that
he does he doesn't tell you to smoke while you're reading it. He basically says you can smoke if you want to smoke while you still read it.
Okay, right.
It's not being like, yeah, please do smoke.
It is that one though.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
But that's the way. I think that's a bit because people do say that, but it's not. That's not the case. It's like if you want it. Like I did while I was started reading it.
Yeah.
Then stuff was then changing in my mind while I was reading it because of how it shows and what it says. It's very, very powerful stuff. Cool. And I'd sort of stopped by the midway point and then just didn't go back. And then at the end of it, it's like, now's the time, if you want to smoke your final cigarette. But it was like, if you have already stopped smoking, please don't feel like you have to fucking smoke, a cigarette. Because I felt that was going to be a bit of a weird. I was like, he's not going to make me smoke a cigarette now. I don't want to smoke a cigarette. Like, not just going to force you to be like, right, no, you need to smoke this last one. It's not. It
comes out of the book.
yeah. There's like one, like just at the end, you have to like peel it back, and it's like a free cigarette. Yeah. That would be really good for
to read the last sentence. So you have to peel it off.
But it's really, really interesting, and it was actually coincidentally kind of a lot of the same conclusions that I come to with drinking and drugs, in the same kind of mentality shift and it not being that difficult, and it me just being done and realizing that the actual better thing for me is not to do it rather than to do it.
Yes.
Very simply put, and really, really understanding that fact, that scientific fucking true fact that it is worse for you than it is good for you, and you don't actually get any pleasure out of it, and understanding all the myths behind it, and it's that it really, really helped, and like I said, it's really not been that difficult, and I'm now in the same mindset where I'm just like, no, you know what, like I'm done, like I'm really not fussed, and I don't see myself going back.
100%. Has being like in a leadership position and being looked up to by people in a sense, and perhaps people aspire to you, has that also played a part in you wanting to set an example as well to others?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I feel like that as well, like because where I've got like a bit of a like platform going on like YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah, it feels like, oh shit, like a lot of people are like looking up to me and like, looking at what I'm talking about and doing next. I better fucking like sort some of my shit out so that I'm not like completely just promoting a bunch of bad shit to people.
Yeah, I mean, look, you've got a level of responsibility, I think, in that respect. Like what you do can very much have an impact on other people.
Like, yeah, especially younger people who follow me. When I see like, like 17-year-olds from Austria or whatever, like aspiring DNB producers that are like really engaged with my content and that, I feel like part of my platform, I can be like, hey kids, smoking's bad.
Yeah, having a positive impact, I think.
Yeah.
And no, I certainly, there certainly was a big factor. I mean, that was kind of what kind of stirred on a lot of it. Really, was because things had been going a bit badly behind the scenes for me, with where I was at with my mentality, struggling a lot. I really sort of lent into the kind of touring, lifestyle last year, and it had an impact and it had a toll. And yeah, where I'm in that position where it's like, I'm at the top. I've got so many people relying on me.
Yeah.
And looking at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And if all of a sudden people are questioning me and thinking, fucking hell, like he's fucking nuts. Like, what's he going to do next? Like, I can't trust him. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm worried. Like, I don't want to work with someone like that. Like when those sort of conversations start happening, and nothing is certain in life, and
No, no.
I've learned as well, like you can spend a lot of time building up to somewhere, but it is fucking easy to destroy it all.
Yeah.
Like so much easier to destroy it all. And it could be one wrong Facebook fucking post, or falling out with someone in the wrong way, or
Yeah.
something. We do, it's so tenuous. You see people's, overnight people can just go because of something. And I very much, I've had to deal with that firsthand. I've had to deal with that
Yeah.
loss and deal with that uncertainty. And I guess I was kind of like feeling like, fuck, like I'm starting to pick up on some signs again, and sort of getting some red flags to be like, if you continue going off in this direction, you could lose it all. Like you could, like there's
Yeah, bro.
no,
Yeah,
there's no
100%.
there's no certainty. So it was really like kind of a real kind of, right, yeah, you've got to, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want to just continue being a fuckhead and just
Yeah.
self destruct?
Yeah. You have to go through it like in a way a few times, and until you finally sort of get the picture, don't you? You look, because you keep going down this one path, whether it's like chasing pleasure and going away from your like goals or something, and then you realize, oh, that didn't really work out very well, and then you like do it again, and eventually you like fucking start to stop banging your head against the wall, don't
Yeah.
you? And you're like, oh fuck, right, I need to actually make a bit of a change here, otherwise it's just going to keep going on.
Well, yeah, continue going around in circles, and just progressively not moving forward, and maybe even actively destroying things, so you can't even. And that's how there's so many failed projects and so many failed people out there. Obviously, again, not all of that is going to come to those things. There can be many things that can come along, and the universe can be fucking indifferent and a cruel place, but there are a lot where it can be very much down to them, and yeah, so I really sort of felt that responsibility. It was like, right, I'm leading by example. I've got a lot of people that rely on me, and it's their lives, it's their careers, with the artists that are on overview. Yeah, very much from a real perspective of like, if I'm out there actively getting shows and making sure that we're doing an event in this city and that city, that's their payment. That's their, that puts money in their pockets, and food in their bellies, on a very like real,
Yeah, of course.
level.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's what you have to contend with, and I have to be aware of that, because then if I'm, not fucking paying attention to what I'm doing and not getting those shows, or the releases are all over the place and people don't know what's going on, it actually has a real impact on their lives.
Yeah.
And so it's
the accountability, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was like, right, again, like I'm right at the front, I don't want to be worrying people. I've got to be helping inspire people and making people feel safe, and like they can trust me. And
yeah, that's it.
And like, don't me wrong, I wasn't like it was so ridiculously bad or whatever. I got done really well to get to a point, but I knew that I could do better, and I knew that I could really, 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 really be the person that.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's not just about like being from a complete fuckhead to sorting shit out. It's about like doing that, what those extra percent are that you can to like develop like yourself as a human as well. And like I guess taking on more responsibility, like you have, as you're holding yourself like really accountable because loads of people are depending on you. That's like, that forces you to level up yourself to deal with all that, doesn't it, in a way? And it's like you kind of give yourself no option but to level up. And so a lot of things what I've done is I've like on purposely tried to find ways to like make myself accountable to certain people or in certain situations, so that I have to fucking level up and do it, and not just revert to like laziness or something.
It's kind of like the sink or swim kind of mentality, which I do think is a good way. It can really sort of test you when it's just like, yeah, like you're saying, you've got no choice. It's like you're either going to make it work and you have to do what you can to make it work, or the other option is you drown, which can really get the best out of you, I think, when you're in those kind of situations. Because otherwise you can be a bit, say, complacent and just be like, oh yeah, no, it'll be all right. We'll get sorted out when it gets sorted out. And it's like, no, you know what? There's actually some urgency here.
Yeah.
God, yeah, we really are getting on
No, it's good. It's good.
Podcast bros talking about deep philosophical subjects. We
Cool.
couldn't be more cliche right now.
That's what it's all about, bro. I did
bro.
Yeah, bro. I did like a I like in my mind, I've always wanted to do like a group coaching lesson, because I always did like one-on-one lessons, but I always felt like nervous to like host a whole group and teach them all. Like, what if they're gonna like keep interrupting? What if they're gonna ask questions I don't know the answers to, and I'll look like a fool in front of everyone? And I had all these fears of like that were holding me back from doing it. And then I just had to sort of just announce it and start planning it, and like plan the first like group session, like with these fears like still going on, so that people like paid money to like book the slot and stuff. And then when it comes to the day, it's like, right, you're just gonna have to.
As nervous as you must have been.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous like the whole day, and then but then when I did it, it was like fine, but it was like, yes, like making myself accountable by sort of announcing it, and just like saying to people that I'm going to do it, and they're all like fucking like waiting. So I can't just like back out of it. I look all right.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You could, but you're gonna look like a fucking idiot.
Exactly. So
and then you look back and then you'll be really disappointed in yourself, because you'll be like, for fuck's sake, like, why didn't I just do it? No, I think no, I really do think that can be a good way of doing it. I mean, look, even my whole label, to be honest, kind of, without repeating the story of my beginnings, because I've kind of gone over it a lot, but one thing, I really, I didn't have a choice, like, really.
I
was, as I was booted out of my other record label, as everything that I worked towards had gone overnight, and I was definitely left with a choice. It was like, and it forced me, into that position. Like, I could never even have imagined, the amount of work, if I'd have thought about starting a record label, I would have probably talked myself out of it. It could have been, because if I'd have had all the time in the world, okay, we've got to think about this, we've got to think about that, and, well, is it the right thing? Is it the right time? But I would like, bam, I'm on my ass. You've got to, your choice is either now you either leave drum and bass and you go do something completely different, or, you just start again and go. And I didn't even think, like, I really just started signing music before I'd even had a name for the label.
That's it.
We didn't have a plan.
That's it. That's
really, it was just, forced, not totally with my own choice, but I was forced into that position, and it brought the best out of me, to be honest with you. It really brought the best out of me. And I, how quickly it all came together and span around, and what we have, it was the catalyst for, and it was completely unexpected, but it was because, as I said, I was put into that sort of sink or swim position.
And you're like building the plane as you're flying it, kind of thing. you fucking take off with this half built together plane, and you just fix shit up as it's in the air,
just going, but put serious amount of work, and it had been a build up. I'd been, I'd already built a plane before I'd taken off before, and I kind of, I was in the position where it all worked and it all made sense, and I was perfectly there. But like, again, like, it's just sometimes you gotta. That wasn't, as I said, that wasn't my choice, but it forced me. But then, if you can do that with yourself sometimes, to kind of put yourself in those uncomfortable, when you're feeling uncomfortable, I think is the kind of the kind of thing. I think that's when you kind of know that's when you're really, you're really pushing the envelope, getting further away from just being too safe, and that's really where real progress is made.
Exactly. I always feel like it's a sign, like you always have something that you're like fearful of, or you're uncomfortable thinking about that you need to do. And it's always like that's usually like the sign of like, here's the next door you need to go through. You need to fucking man up and do it.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like rewarded through that eventually.
Yeah, you'd be. Yeah, that's the thing. You'd be, and then, or you put it, or you know, usually, 9 times out of 10, you turn around and be like, "Oh, that wasn't actually that difficult, was it?
Yeah.
I was just in my own mind. It seemed a lot worse than it was going to be, and you just need to make that start and just move forward and put one foot after the next, and make these things happen. And then,
have you got anything like that now? Like, because the one thing that I keep thinking about is I want to join like a martial arts gym of some sort, but the idea of it terrifies me as well, because I don't want to get my head kicked in by some nutter. But like, I know that like most of those kind of gyms are like really respectful and like safe places to train and that, but still part of me is like,
it's a bit dangerous. It's dangerous. You could hurt yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But like part of me like really wants to do it, but I'm also like scared of just showing up and starting it, So
yeah.
What about you? Have you got anything right now that you're like thinking about doing but sort of putting off?
Yeah, I have. Although I also don't want to. I've sort of learned a little bit that it can also be best not to talk about them too much.
Yeah, true.
I feel sometimes.
Yeah, you don't have to mention anything publicly.
No. Yeah, because I could sit here and go, look, I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of ambitions, to be like, this is what I would like to do. But I think sometimes when you start actually this, I can't remember where I was hearing about this.
I know what you mean exactly. Yeah,
because it almost gives you that fake reward.
Yeah,
because then you could be like, oh man, that's a really good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea. You should totally do that. I'm going, yeah, that is a really good idea.
Yeah, then you never actually do it. Yeah,
I'm going to do it, and then you never actually fucking do it, and you can almost like jinx. I know it's a whole like, oh, you're going to jinx it sort of thing, but I think that's the thing. It is about actions rather than words a little bit. But there's certainly lots of things, and there's certainly things that I wish I'd have done already, and I haven't made a start with. So I'm far from perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's certainly things. I'll tell you one thing I will say about, which is one of my big ambitions, which I don't think is like such a bad thing to mention, is I really would love to do a festival. That's kind of like something that I've
like an overview stage at a festival kind of thing.
No, as in like actually organize my own festival. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sick.
Like that's a very ambitious thing, and I'm not sure that I mean, I've started the ball rolling, and again, actions, making stuff happen and talking to some people that I could talk with, and I've kind of slowly starting to put some things together. But
you better fucking invite me to that, mate.
Yeah, well, look, my idea with it is to almost start off quite a small friends and family. It would be a public festival, but I'm not going in to do like 4,000 capacity festival in, because to be quite frank, I don't have the money to be able to pay for that. Like,
100%.
I mean, that costs probably $500,000 to do stuff on that kind of level. But I've got I think I've got enough and enough of an idea
to start a little one.
Like, I don't know, I've been a bit like
fun. Sounds
fun.
No,
I think that's it. It's like, for overview, I mean, I've been promoting events for a long time now, and I've kind of done a lot of different events and a lot of different club shows. And I've done a few sort of like more different styles of events or whatever, but I've never done a proper festival like that, where it's legal and it's in a field, but just an opportunity to bring people together that I would never usually get an opportunity to all be in the same place. So that's kind of like my my thing at the moment, that I really I think it would be really cool to do. But it's going to take a lot of hurdles to jump. There's a lot, there's a lot involved in that, especially doing it yourself.
If someone can do it, it's probably you, though.
I also believe that.
You'll guilt trip yourself into doing
I
it.
kill myself. I just also just won't accept because I think I've already sort of said to a few people, they're like, "Are you fucking sure?" Like that just sounds like, because it is a lot to take on. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a
Yeah.
lot to take on. It's like, there's I mean, I've been learning about it. You wouldn't believe just the amount of moving parts there are to something
Oh
like that
yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
doing it
No.
yourself. Like, obviously, look, you can pay an entire company to come along and just do it all for you, or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
That takes the
Um,
fun out of it for you, probably, though, doesn't it? But
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I want to be,
you're learning about how it all works, aren't you? I
yeah,
guess
exactly. Important.
you've learned so much along your journey anyway, haven't you? About like I've never organized an event. I mean, just doing that alone, you must learn like so much what goes into it, and then
Yeah, no, that's it. I think it's like a progression moving up. Like I said, different types of events. Like I've done so many different types of events and different scales. Or I've
yeah,
been into some big clubs in England. We've done tours of New Zealand. Like
yeah,
there's been a lot of different types of events. But you're right. Like there's a lot of similarities and a lot of different of those same skill sets that I can apply to that. And yeah, like, I think it just sort of came about this year because I moaned a bit online because overview we didn't get booked on any festivals this year,
yeah,
which I know it could be like, oh boohoo,
yeah. No, but you take it
first
into your own,
one.
you take it into your own hands. Oh fuck you! I'm going to do my own festival then,
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
no, I really felt like that. I really felt like that. I was just
Ah,
like,
that's what you've been
okay,
doing from the start, mate. Just going your own way. That's wicked.
pretty much. I mean,
Yeah,
pretty much that almost symbolizes
that's the
very
attitude.
much the attitude that I've had from this whole way, to be
Yeah,
honest. Because yeah, it's like, well, okay, well, I'm not being let in the door, this way. I'm just going to go build my own door
yeah,
and walk through it because
that's it.
yeah, that really is. Like
Yeah,
I've not had you know big amounts of support from people higher up than me in some respects. We've had a little bit with some events that we've done, in London, but on the whole, like overview is a very very organic,
yeah.
from the ground up thing,
Grassroots.
as they say. Like a lot. And obviously I've had amazing support from the artists.
But it's like I would argue almost my favorite label out of any, like from the music. And I'm not just just kissing the ring,
Yeah,
but
I'll pay you afterwards. All right, I'll
yeah,
send you
yeah,
that. I'll send you that money in the
yeah.
post.
So the cash app, yeah,
Yeah. Cash App. This is now going to a Cash App sponsorship. We'd like to tell you now about our sponsorship, Cash App. No. I appreciate what you're saying, and look, that's
but when because I look for if I play shows like I don't really I look at artists that I already know that like what is their latest tune that I can play. There's like a few like I could count on one hand or two, two hands that artists I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play their shit. And then outside of that, I kind of like get your dubs from you. And then like I love the dubs that come out on your label. And yeah, so for me it's one of the best out there, to be honest. So the fact you don't get stage at festivals, I think it's a matter of time.
Do you know what? I agree with you, Marcel.
Yes. There you go. It's a matter of time.
No. I feel that. I mean, look, don't be wrong. We had we've done some amazing things, and I'm far from ungrateful. But I feel like that. I do feel like we deserve it, or at least my artist. My artist. Come on like that. But the overview artists and the roster, they deserve it. They're fucking unbelievably talented bunch, and we put on a fucking sick fucking show. And yeah, like it was just scratched my head really. I was just like, fucking hell, like we're doing all this, and and not one festival was like we did try. I mean, maybe I could have tried differently. I don't necessarily have I don't have the same level of contacts in the festival world as I do within other things. But even still, like it's like, I would have thought that. I mean, maybe it's naivety, of how it can work, but yeah, it's just a shame. And again, even from like I said, going back from the kind of like what we're offering as a label and the artist, like we're not getting any festival shows. A lot of our artists be like, well, they're not getting any festival bookings. Like that's what we want. We're going to go somewhere else to find that if that's what what else.
Yeah.
So it can that actually can have a negative impact on our growth and on our and as well, like it's one thing. It's one thing doing club shows and because it's very much you're the focal point and you get your fans to come out and watch you, and you may get some other people that will come out for just for a night out, but
yeah,
it's not with festivals that really does open you up to a whole different audience that may have never heard of you, no idea who you are. And that is such a great opportunity. So it was really disappointed, to be honest. Like it was quite gutting, considering though, what, as I said, what we have done and the quality of what I believe we put out, that we should be there. But we're making changes for this year. But again, that was kind of then what really stemmed it. And I almost like half made a tongue-in-cheek subversive joke as I like to do, and it's now actually starting to sort of like actually be like, what, that's actually a really good idea. Like I actually would like to do that, and as well, like it would be a bit of a, well, fuck you then, we'll just we're gonna have our own festival with hookers and blackjack. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. It's always about the fuck you, I'm doing it myself then mentality. That's just I think like you'll get there anyway. Like I'm surprised that hasn't happened now. Like if I saw Overview on a particular festival, I would not be surprised at all. So I think it's just
I think it's a matter of time, and maybe again, like we've probably got to put in the work to be able to show ourselves more to people, and make noise. Putting on your own festival is probably even something that would do that. Like because there'll be other people that would hear about you, see about you, whatever. We sort of, I've always felt we're kind of like we're in a we're in like quite a funny position sometimes, I think, with Overview. Like the people that know about Overview, you again, and more information and firsthand, so much more than even most people. And if you know all that stuff, it is a bit like, wow, fucking hell, I can't believe what's going on here. Like it's actually pretty mad. And the people that like really know us are really, really committed to us and are kind of disciples in that kind of way.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But we just haven't quite broken through to the wider
the next sort of level up. Yeah.
Like where we could be. Like there's still a lot of people that don't know who we are, and it is a bit like fucking hell. Maybe I don't want that to come across as big-headed or whatever, and it's obviously just the reality.
Because I have the same mental battles all the time as well. Like, and then you have to like realize how far you've already come and like try and be grateful, but at the same time you're like, fucking hell, like why have I not like got why is there not more happening now? Like why?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I deserve it. I'm amazing.
I've been working so hard. For God's sake. Gonna throw it all away now.
No, but I think I've always used it to motivate me, like sometimes getting a bit angry and getting a bit, well, fuck
That's
you
it.
then,
and then
channeled in the right way.
Channeling that fucking aggression into going harder.
And just being like, well, and that same thing to be like, well, if you're not going to listen to me, or I'm just gonna still do it and really push myself to until people can't ignore you. And that's
you have to be so good you can't be ignored, isn't it?
No, I know that's the thing. And I really do feel that way. I mean, that is kind of how music works, really. Like there's no yes, there, you can get help, and there is that out there, but fundamentally it's a case of growing your own island and your own
That's it.
slice of that pie until they can't ignore you, until it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, fucking hell, like,
That's it.
and that is what I kind of feel about Overview. I do feel like we've kind of done and doing that,
Yeah.
where it is a case of like, you know, wow, okay, fucking hell, like, these
Yeah.
boys are really, you know, and girls, you know, are really something here, and we can't ignore them for any longer, and back it up by bringing an audience, by bringing, you know, quality, quality events and a quality product.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, it builds, it snowballs and it snowballs, and the whole thing has been just snowballing like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you know, a year's time, you know, 2 years time, where the next sort of stage is for us. Because I really feel like we're in a very, I've said it a lot, we're kind of like in a transitional period, in terms of we're not up and comers anymore. We're not,
no,
like
we're definitely well established. Yeah,
we're not. Well, no, that was what I was going to say. You know, go on to the next stage is like we're getting established. You know, and we're kind of in the middle at the moment. I feel that we're not the underdogs. We're not in the same way. We're not the up and comers. We're not the fresh face. We've been around for 5 years now. But we're not quite established in the same way as certain other people within the drum and bass industry. And we're trying, like, we're one of the labels that is kind of pushing to be one of the next labels on that mantelpiece. And if we carry on like we are, and we play our cards right, I feel that we will. You know, we have the potential that we can, and that's the thing. And going back to that potential thing, it's like realizing the full potential that Overview has. And for me, it's now, how are we going to do that? How are we going to push to take things to that level or further, and doing those right things. And that's kind of where I feel that we're at the moment. And but in general, it's, you know, I feel like we are, you know, doing it. I mean, I tour New Zealand last, you know, this year. So
yeah, it's really inspiring to watch. Watch your determination and also your work ethic. It's super inspiring to just see it grow, you know.
No, man.
So it's
appreciate
really
that.
It's really, really great. I think we all hope you just keep going, bro.
Yeah, no, I'll keep on going. I mean, I've got my next challenge, or my next thing. I'm gonna be a dad. I think
I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
Try and bring that onto the podcast. That's my
When's do you know the sex yet?
Yeah, I'm having a baby boy.
Cool. Do you know when he'll be born then?
The due date is November the 10th, so about 2 months' time. Wow. Emma is very much ready to pop.
Very much pregnant.
She's very pregnant, and yeah, that's been a very kind of different sort of thing to come to terms with. But I've been in a very good place to kind of deal with it, and excited about it, and and yeah, so that's gonna be fun. You know, obviously, you know, juggling, as I said, everything that I've just talked about, you know, that I'm doing, plus now having a child, and bringing them into the world. But it has also been quite motivating, really, with a lot that I've sort of spoken about. To then, I'm not just thinking about myself anymore. I've got to think about a life that I have created, which is quite. It's been surreal, and I think it's obviously going to get even more kind of, quite. Maybe surreal is not the right word, but it's going to get pretty quite mad when he is here, and how different my life is going to be, and how I'm going to have to adapt again, to manage everything.
You're the master of adaptation, though. I think you'll figure out a way.
Yeah, no, I feel that way as well. So everything will be all right. Like, it's going to be fun. And then, you know, he can just take over the label and run it for me, and I can just kick back and retire. You know, that's
get back on the booze.
Get back on the booze. Yeah, I'll get back drinking wine, and, you know, just let him do it.
Do you think you'll go back to drinking more?
No,
in a like tasteful way, like
no,
just completely cut it out.
I really don't even think I will. I mean, at the moment, like I'm just so, I'm not even contemplating anything like that. Like it really is just.
No, neither am I. I've been at about 15 months now of no drop of booze or drugs or cigarette. I've had the occasional cigar. That's been it. But then just
the occasional cigar,
just to feel like a
boss,
like a fake gangster,
like a top G, like a top G.
Yeah, just to feel like top G for a moment, and then before I return to my normal
playing chess, not checkers. Yeah.
Before I return to my normal life again,
as a music producer in his bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, similar thing, I guess. Just really not even thinking about it, not even just being like, oh, maybe I will one day. It's just like, that is just so not even on my radar.
Okay, cool.
It's just so far away, and I'm just like, I've got so much more to think about, and I'm enjoying it. That's the thing, I'm enjoying not doing it so much, and I feel so much better for it that it's like, why would I even fucking think about it?
Are you like actively like working out, or is that not really a bit of you?
That's not really been that's been maybe a thing that I would like to do. I mean, I'm not an unhealthy person, and I do get out a lot, but I haven't managed to actually
not a gym rat then.
No, and like running, I've like tried to start running occasionally, but I've never been able to actually like fully keep it up.
It's quite boring, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, it's difficult as well. It's like, oh, what am I going to do? Go and run, 3 miles right now, or just sit here, and watch Netflix. Like, one is a lot easier than the other. Again, maybe I've obviously been trying to tackle so many things this year, and I do think that there is something in when you're trying to achieve goals that you do need to kind of focus on one, achieve it, then achieve the other. Because I think if you are to go, this, and this, and this, and you're all trying to do it all at the same time, it gets very, very overwhelming, and it's a lot of change in a short space of time. And so definitely, like, I think, as I said, cigarettes and the food thing has been my latest thing. And I think, give it, I mean, I do have some weights down there that I have been occasionally doing.
Well, that's been for me, like weightlifting has been that stress release, and also helped me to like get over those times, when you have felt like a door's like closed on you and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Or like in those moments when you just sometimes don't quite
you need a release.
Don't quite know the next move, or like you're just a bit pissed off with something and you want to like sort of just take it out in a like productive way. So for me, that's just been like, just smash some weights for like 20 minutes or half an hour. Then after that, I'm like, right, okay, I got rid of that.
I'm ready.
All right, what's the next step after this then?
No, that's good to hear. Maybe I do need to.
Yeah, it's been proper helpful for me, like in the last 1 or 2 years. But
so you're fucking hench now, yeah.
Hey, no one has got gains like
that. Oh, get him. Let's have a look. No. I mean, we are like, I feel like we are definitely being very cliche in terms of in terms of a lot of that kind of like healthy living.
Yeah, well, I mean,
grind set on that grind set.
As long as we can be honest about it, it's fine, isn't it?
and be a bit self-deprecating as well. But I think that the thing is like, it is actually like a lot of it in a healthy way is very, very positive. And
I mean,
the information's there to find out. Like, I mean, I'm a big fan of you watch like Huberman Lab podcast at all?
Okay, no, I've not heard of that one.
Oh, okay. I'm about to open up
all right.
Open up a complete rabbit hole. Man, you need to check out Dr. Andrew Huberman. I'm sure there'll probably be a few people that are listening to this. They'll be like, oh yeah, Dr. Huberman. He runs that podcast has really, really changed a lot for me.
Yeah.
Because he's a Stanford scientist, and he talks about very, very complicated subjects in a very kind of easy way to understand,
digestible way,
digestible, but it's all about sort of self positivity and transformation. And I mean, there's an amazing episode on alcohol. There's another one on meditation, fasting, gut microbiome, like all of this stuff. But he is like a very, 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 very clever man. And just there's hours of stuff, and he gets on some really, really great guests. And that's the thing, it's all backed up by science. It's not like, and he will, if there's anything that's been said wrong, he'll openly admit to it. He's very, very matter of fact. Very inspiring guy, and again, like that, showing, it's a really timely cultural, that's putting it on a very grandiose level, but I do feel that way because it's very unique that someone like him has built himself. It's completely and utterly himself built this platform, and the kind of spread of ideas, and that's fundamentally what it is ideas, and giving this information out to people that otherwise, it's stuff that you would just be like, I can't believe I didn't know that, or I can't believe that's actually, it really changes your opinion on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, and so much of what we've talked about today, there's undoubtedly a podcast that he's done about, and just helping people, putting positivity in the world, and it's really, really helped me with a lot. And there's sort of a good few of them as well doing that, but he's a special bloke, so that's something for your weightlifting in the gym, or if you need
I need some hard rock.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Or some overview music, maybe.
Yeah.
Listen on the gym playlist.
What would you say is like your heaviest artist on Overview? Because of
the heaviest artist.
Yeah. What would be like the most aggressive artist on Overview? Is that difficult to answer?
That, I mean, it isn't. I mean, I think probably that have made more aggressive music is Jarfield, Yano, and Skylark has as well. But it's not. And they make some very like light and happy music as well. But they're definitely on the harder edge of it. I would say. Because a lot of it otherwise is quite minimal, or jump uppy, minimal jump up, as the kids say. That'd be mine. We haven't gone into neurofunk just yet, unfortunately, Marcel. That's still not on the.
No, I wouldn't have expected that you would.
We've released some heavy tunes over the years. I think if you actually go,
I sort of tend to end up making neurofunk when I produce, but that's not really a choice. It just sort of happens.
I have no choice.
Yeah. I don't know how it just ends up there, but it usually does. But when I play like live shows, I don't always only play neuro. That's why I would like to look for stuff from your label to sort of balance things out more.
Bit of breathing space between the fucking face melting neuro bangers.
Yeah, exactly. You can't appreciate them if they're the whole time.
You need some more claps rather than doofy snares.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a fairly decent length podcast.
Well, and this is why, because you were like, oh, let's do. Have you got a spare 20 minutes? And I was just like, come on, man! Like,
1 hour and 20 minutes.
This is a long form content. This is why. I mean, I love podcasting. Obviously, if anyone is listening to this, I'm definitely going to go plug my podcast right now. Come and listen to my podcast.
Where do we find that?
I mean, mostly it's on SoundCloud and YouTube.
What do
we searching overview music? If you search in overview music, you better find us on the internet somewhere.
Okay, I'll put a link up in the
in the
wherever
doobly doo.
wherever I upload this, I'll put a link to your pod.
Yeah, do it. I mean, well, I've actually got 3 podcasts.
Yeah.
One is like presenting music, which is like kind of like podcast / radio show kind of thing.
Yeah.
That is the Overview podcast. I then also do. I've done like an interview series myself. It was called Overviewed, which was like the old one, which was more like Skype interviews like this, and I'm now starting to do in real life podcasts,
Sick.
which is called Beyond the Dance.
Yeah.
I've only done 2 at the moment. I did just record my 3rd one, and I completely fucked the recording up, which I'm really gutted about because I had a really good conversation with someone and I fucked it up. But we're going to get him back in, and I'm going to do it. That's the joy of doing this. So I also do that, and I also have a Patreon exclusive podcast as well, which is just me on my own talking into a microphone about a subject,
monologuing.
Because I can do that. That's actually a talent that I have. Is just being able to sit and talk for a good hour and a half about something.
Yeah, I'll put a link up to that as well.
100%. Yeah, come sign up to Patreon as well. Come sign up to my Patreon.
Leave mine and go and join his.
That's a great idea. That's actually a great idea. Yeah, please all come up, sign up to me. We have some producer related stuff like sample packs and some tutorials, things like that from some of the Overview artists. So there's a bit of something for everyone on there. Come sign up now. That's Overview Music, patreon.com/overview. Come sign up. So I going back on a very long-winded way, I love podcasting. I love I think it's a great medium.
I don't know if this is the second or third chat that we've had. No, I think maybe it's the second one.
I think it's the second. Yeah, I think it's the second. This is definitely the more thorough chat that we've had.
Yes.
But this is the great thing, like you said 20 minutes, and it's like, well, we've now spoken for an hour or an hour and a half or so, and we've gone through a lot of different subjects and hopefully given a little bit more of an interesting chat to people. So
yes. Yeah, to be honest, I just wanted to catch up really as well.
I just wanted to talk. This is how you can talk.
I'm just lonely.
Catch up with people now.
I'm just lonely, Pete.
Come to a podcast with me, Pete. I'm actually just this isn't gonna go out. This is just gonna be for you, just to keep, so you can watch it back personally.
Yes, my personal.
Yeah, do you know what? I actually very interested in. I will have to go because I've actually got another call after this. I will end it. I've actually done a podcast with my grandma.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
I don't think it's going to go online, to be honest with you. That is more of a personal thing, and it's for my family and for like future generations of my family, really.
Yeah.
Because I think I would love to watch, an interview with my great grandma or my nana or my granddad or whoever, and like learn about their lives. So I've
thought about that sometimes as well, like doing the one with my family as well. And like
I do it. I really because what you my thought is like, well, you're actually giving a record for future generations of people that like
exactly. That's the good thing about content and the internet is like
content.
It's
there forever.
My grandchildren, if I have some, hopefully one day, they'll be like, oh, look, he was this absolute idiot on YouTube, wasn't he?
I can watch hours and hours of him rattling on about going to the gym. but that's the thing, and certainly going forward, like it's become a much more common thing. But for people that are like, I mean, my grandma is 92. I got a 92-year-old lady, sat her down and had an interview with her, and I learned so much about her and her life. And we spoke for like 4 hours. And I wasn't even done. I'm actually going back for a second interview. So it's gonna be probably like 8 to 10 hours worth of interviewing with my grandma.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, which I think I might, do a bit more of that kind of thing, doing something a bit out there, something a bit different. Not just talking about drum and bass to people, but actually.
I mean, we barely talked about drum and bass.
We have actually barely talked about drum and bass. Drum and bass going all right though. You good? You still like drum and bass, yeah?
That's the kick snare two-step thing, isn't
quite
it?
fast. Yeah, quite fast music from the
Yeah.
UK. Yeah, drum and bass. Yeah, drum and
Yeah,
bass.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I've heard of it. All right, Marcel. Well, I better go because, like I said,
Yeah,
I've
no,
got another
thanks.
call after this.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, lots of love, dude. Thank you. Honestly,
Yeah. See you soon,
always a
bro.
pleasure.
Ciao,
Am I
ciao.
allowed to? Am I allowed to go now? I'm allowed to go now.
Okay.
Oh.